Exactly 2 months ago, we announced Indigo Park, a brand new indie horror game that brings you to an abandoned amusement park to explore how time has ruined a place once filled with joy. While we're working every day to bring this experience to you, I wanted to do another Q&A video to answer some of your guys' pressing questions about the game. If you're excited about the game, consider subscribing here, checking out the Patreon for early access looks, and of course, wishlisting Indigo Park on Steam. Who is making the music for the game, and what is the music most inspired by? I am very proud of the music team we have behind Indigo Park, and some of you may recognize some names on the team. The big one is Seek, who did the OST for my Garden of Banban fan game Reincarnated, along with a ton of other projects like Seek's cool Deltarune mod and other big FNF mods. Jake Neutron is also composing music for the game, being known for his popular songs like Don't Listen, Hug Me, Make Believe, and countless FNF mods. Another big player is Wrecked, who's known for his with lyrics videos for video games like Pizza Tower, Friday Night Funkin', Pokemon, and more, along with some really good originals. The music's largely inspired by two categories, one being classical Disney parks music. I mean, we're doing a theme park, so we need to have a baseline of cheery, fun music for the rides and attractions and areas. But we're also taking a lot of inspiration from other horror games and other indie horror games even. Think the Poppy Playtime, the Dark Deception. Those games that have really in-depth soundtracks once you actually take the time to listen to them are probably our biggest inspiration when we're looking at new music for this game. If Indigo Park gets big enough, will there be merch? If so, which out of all the cast would make the best plushie? So right now, I'm not planning any merch. Some big merch companies have reached out to me and asked if we wanted to do merch, and I did give them the okay to go ahead and start thinking about and developing it, but it's not something that I think me or anyone on the team right now should be looking at. I think when a game gets any form of attention, one of the first things people think about is making merch. It's a great way to fund the game, and I have no problem with people selling merch. But sometimes when you prioritize getting that merch out while you're still developing the game, a lot of your characters and situations get changed to be more marketable, and you have a higher focus on getting merch out. And that's not something we want to do. The last thing I want you guys to think of is Indigo Park as a cash grab. This is a passion project that I'm pouring my entire heart into. I'm quite literally like waking up, working on the game, going to class, working on the game. And the last thing I want to do is be like, oh, look at this Rambly plushie, buy it before the game even comes out. Or, you guys want t-shirts? Buy the t-shirts, you know. If it's something that you guys want, I definitely do want to do merch. I'm a graphic design major, I love doing merch. But it's not something right now that I think we should be focusing on as a team. We need to make the game the best it can possibly be before we even consider it. But with that, I gotta talk about something. You could probably tell from the title and thumbnail, there's already knockoff merch of my characters floating around. All I ask is that you guys please do not buy the knockoff merch. These are products that are being sold without my permission, with no input from the team, just to cash in on your guys' support for a small indie project. They were made quickly and cheaply and just to take advantage of you guys before the game even comes out. I think the team behind Billy Bust Up, an indie game that I'm looking forward to, said it best on Twitter. I know bootlegs can be quite funny to look at, but I ask you to not buy them. We can't guarantee quality, and the people profiting from them are not only undercutting us, but using stolen templates. I recommend commissioning an indie artist or waiting for official merch. And I have to agree. So if you guys do want Indigo Park merch, let me know what you guys want. That's something that I would love to look into doing down the line. But for now, we're going to focus on making the game the best it can be. Is Indigo Park going to have non-game representation, such as animated shorts, merch, or other stuff like it? Well, I just talked about merch, but we have a ton of ideas for really cool stuff that we can do with Indigo Park outside of just the main video game. But that's not something we're looking into doing right now because we're putting as much time and effort as we can into Chapter 1 of the game. Similar to doing Chapter 2, these other side projects are just going to depend on what you guys want. If you guys support Chapter 1 a ton, and I'm able to work on Chapter 2 full-time after college, then yeah, I would love to do these animated shorts and like a whole list of other stuff we want to do. But it's all going to depend on how well the game's received. What inspired you to make Rambly an AI assistant instead of an ally character that you see with Flesh? I love games like Portal. Characters like GLaDOS or Wheatley. I love the idea of an all-seeing AI being able to guide the player experience. And it's something that I wanted to experiment with for a very long time. So when we came up with the idea of Rambly, I'm like, man, It would be so dope if he was just on a screen, able to hop from screen to screen in the park, and be able to guide the player through stuff. Another big benefit of doing Rambl in 2D is we're able to do a lot of like 2D animation, cartoony fun stuff with him that would be harder to pull off in 3D. Will there be a gimmick like the grab pack from Poppy Playtime? So I've actually gotten this question a lot more than I thought. I guess it's pretty common for indie horror games to have like one big gimmick. Think like the drone from Ban Ban, the grab pack from Poppy Playtime. So without getting too much into it, Rambl is kind of your tool or gimmick, I guess. He also gives you an item that'll play a bigger factor in future chapters, but I guess that's kind of your gimmick. A gimmick seems like a mean word to say about these things. Do you have any plans to collab with games like Ban Ban, Choo Choo Charles, or any other games? So at the moment, no. But I will say since starting this project, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of really cool indie devs. For example, I've been talking to some people that have worked on Poppy Playtime, and their support for Indigo Park has been absolutely insane. And other games like Billy Bust Up. The devs behind that are just the sweetest people in the world. It's been awesome meeting all of these devs. So right now, no, I'm not planning like a crossover event or anything. Nothing like Choo Choo Charles and Ban Ban 4. But if there's any indie games that want to do some kind of collaboration, whether that's like cosmetics of my characters in your game or like cameos of your characters in my game, I'm down for that kind of stuff. I love this whole like atmosphere that indie devs have, like being able to talk to each other about each other's projects, seeing what we're doing. It's something really special, and I'm really new to it, but I'm so proud to be a part of it now. So yeah, any indie devs, like hit me up. I'm down to like talk video game. How would you describe the game's gameplay? What game or franchise is it most similar to in terms of gameplay mechanics? Indigo Park is a free roam horror game. So if I had to draw comparisons, think like Poppy Playtime, Ban Ban, FNAF Security Breach, even Bendy, really, because of the chapter-based stuff. You'll explore abandoned locations around the theme park and uncover what the Indigo company was doing behind the scenes. I don't really like drawing comparisons of my games to other ones, because yeah, of course, I've been a YouTuber for a long time. I've been playing these indie horror games. They're gonna be inspired by other free roam horror games. But we're also doing as much as we possibly can to make this a brand new experience for the player. For example, the stuff we're doing with Rambl, I haven't really seen in the indie horror scene yet, and I'm really excited to do even more stuff with him in the future going into like chapter 2 and 3. These next questions come from our Patreon members. If you guys are interested in supporting the game, since it is going to be free at launch, consider checking out the Patreon, where I'm going to be posting early access looks of the game and keeping you up to date more than I can here on the main channel. Will there be more trailers before the release of chapter 1? Yes, definitely. There's at least going to be one more chapter whenever we have a set release date for the game. I'd like to get that up maybe like 2 weeks before we find the release date. That way you guys have a heads up of when it's coming out. But I've also thought about doing another trailer that's more gameplay and environmental focused. Right now, the only trailer for the game is the announcement trailer, and that has a lot of focus on Rambl, which is fine. But I kind of want to show off some of the environments and give you guys a look at what the gameplay is going to look like. So keep an eye on the channel, maybe a couple more trailers, I don't know. Will there be additional characters in chapter 1 other than Molly and Rambl?
Yes.
What's your current release window? Like this year or next year? So I'd really like to get the game out before the end of this year. I think it's really possible with the work we've put in and the baseline for everything being lined up. It's really just going to depend on how smoothly the rest of development goes. Will everyone on the team stick to the deadlines that we have set? Will I have any issues implementing stuff that I haven't implemented yet? Will school start kicking my butt again and I'll be stuck writing essays for a class that I don't care about? All of that is just stuff that happens when you're not doing this full time, and I'm a YouTuber, streamer, full-time design student. Like, I got a lot of stuff going on in life, and it's all just going to depend if the cards get played right. If it gets towards the end of this year and it's not ready, then I'm obviously going to push it back into next year. I don't want to like rush the game out and have a half-baked game after I've hyped it up all this time. But also, like, if everyone hits their deadlines and I can get the stuff done in a week, like come out next month, I don't know. It's all up in the air right now. And the last thing I want to do is set too hard of deadlines whenever this is a smaller project and I know everyone on the team has like bigger goals. So keep an eye on the channel. Like I said, I'll have a release date trailer up. I'm gonna do my best to keep you guys up to date on like when the game's coming out, but trust me, it'll be worth the wait. Will the game have multiple endings, or will it be more linear? So for future chapters, we definitely have ideas of like some different endings. In particular, there's like a couple joke endings that we thought about where like if you interact with a certain item a certain amount of times, it like ends the game on that chapter. I will say the overall gameplay, especially in chapter 1, is a lot more linear. Like go here to unlock this area, which I think is fine, especially for like a pilot chapter we're doing of this, just to see if people like the world we're trying to develop. I think there's a lot that could happen in future chapters especially, and right now we're just kind of focusing up on chapter 1. Will there be a live stream for its release on Steam? 100%. Outside of game dev, I've been a streamer and YouTuber for many years now. And actually, I've been streaming a lot of different indie horror games and FNAF fan games just to kind of get a sense of what's out there. So if you're interested in that kind of content, there's going to be some posted on the channel along with over on my Twitch. But I'm thinking that the day we release it, we'll be streaming right when it comes out. I'll do my playthrough of the game where it's kind of like developer commentary, and I'll put that up on the channel as well, kind of talking about the details and the process behind creating some of the game. And then I'd imagine we're going to do a lot of live streams like reacting to YouTubers if they play it, or game dev sessions where we add stuff to chapter 1 or fix bugs and, you know, stuff like that. So I definitely want streaming to be side by side with this new game dev arc that I'm having. So yeah, we'll just have to see, but there will be a stream whenever the game comes out. So that's all I got for you guys. If you have any other questions, be sure to ask them below and I'll try to get to them in my next video. Be sure to keep an eye out on the channel and my Discord and the Twitter, because I'm gonna have a lot of new information about the game coming out real soon. And again, if you're interested in supporting the game because chapter 1 is gonna be free, check out the Patreon with the link in the description. Thanks again to our patrons who are on the screen right now, and don't forget to wishlist Indigo Park on Steam.